We are back on the greenhouse project. Not quite finished up with my daddy's building, but I had a little bit too much help over there, so I had to spread the workforce out, and we're trying to get as much as we possibly can done in the next 2 weeks, because these guys are going home to see their families for the winter. So we dug down the water line that we just put in to the high tunnel. We dug down to it. Them guys are machines. They actually did this by hand. They dug down and got it where we can put a spigot in this new greenhouse, which is awesome. And in the process of getting the end walls up, I've got to get my plastic ordered from Knowles Greenhouse Supplies up in Pennsylvania. We need a 50-foot wide sheet, and we need enough to cover the end walls twice. We're going to cover this thing twice so that we can inflate it all. We needed some 2x4s. Really getting tired of burning money, so I went to the sawmill and I had some cedar 2x8s that were just byproducts of sawing some posts. Some of them are a little bit bowed up, but they go in there long way, so it doesn't matter. They're going to straighten them up. The ones that are bowed like this can be cut in pieces, but like the saying goes, I try not to use "a poor man has poor ways." Try not to use that one, because I feel like if you tell yourself something enough, you start believing it and it comes true. But it's coming together nicely. Got the two little fans framed up, and then the big 36-inch fan up top framed up, and we're getting ready to put the LB white heater in. We just had to change up plans a little bit. It was my fault. I didn't plan it well enough. Had the heater sticking out where it was going to cover up the door hole by about 3 inches, but we just made the decision to scoot it over here, and then we've got to get shutters on the other end and a door, and we're going to put these 5/4 boards that were in the greenhouse. We're going to run them down the sides right down through here, and that's what our wire lock track will mount to for our roll curtains for the side. And we're going to get this thing wrapped up here in the next couple of days.
Bájale poquito que le va. Ahí está. Métele unos tornillos ahí, Martín. Agárrenlo. Busca el martillo. No, permiten ir muy poquito para allá para poner la tuerca.
That was a little bit bigger deal than it seemed like. That son of a gun is heavy. I think it's going to work out pretty dang nice, because there's plenty of room to come in this road right here, and you can circle both greenhouses up here by the blackberries and come back down by this side. So that's going to be nice for moving plants in and out. We got this big door here, so if we got like roll carts or whatever, if we're trying to move large volumes of plants in or out, or pallets of potting soil, we'll be able to take them in this door. It's pretty flat out here, and it's going to work out really good, because I think my long range plan is to put a third greenhouse right here, and it's going to be a smaller greenhouse for starting seedlings. So it'll take quite a bit of LP to heat all three of these, because as I've mentioned before, just as soon as I can talk Holly into it, this is going to be a greenhouse too instead of a high tunnel, and we're going to heat it obviously. So I think I'm going to have about a 1,500 gallon LP tank set right here on the edge of this hill. It'll be out of the way, and they'll only have about 20 foot of line to run underground to that heater, And then if we put the heater in this corner, we'll only have about 20 foot of line to run to that one. The only one that'll have any line length of propane line to it at all will be to the third one. So that's gonna work out pretty dang nice, I think. But this sucker is up, and that pretty much completes this end of the greenhouse. There will be a whole lot of work to do in here even after we get the plastic on and get this sucker hooked up. We've got to get an electrician out here and put us up a temporary power pole and get the power company to run power out here for us, because we're gonna have to have, I hate to put in another meter and have a third power bill, but it's just kind of the nature of the business. You got to spend it to make it, I guess they say. Because it takes, we had initially planned to run some heavy wire when we trenched in. I called the telephone company, at the contractor for the telephone company, at the right time. They were in the area putting in fiber, and I got them to bore under the road for me for a fair price, I felt like. And that worked out awesome, because we were able to run our water line from the well out across the field and over to where we're building the shop. And then we were able to run it over here to our greenhouses underneath the road. And I was gonna put in some pretty heavy wire from down at the well where there's power all the way over here to the greenhouses. And when I got to doing the math on the amperage drop, it was going to cut the amount of power I had, the amount of amps, basically in half. So it really wasn't going to work. It would have been iffy at best. And if we'd have had the fans in this greenhouse and the fans in that greenhouse cut on at the same time, it would have tripped the breaker out. So it didn't make sense. So I guess we're going to have to go the extra power bill route, but it'll be good. It probably will run like minimum, so it won't be too big of a deal. But we've got to get that done so that we can have the fans and everything running in here. We've got time. We'll start in a smaller greenhouse, the one we've already got done, that's heated and ready to roll, and then we'll move into this one as it gets later in the season and plants start to get larger. So we've got a little bit of time to get the loose ends tied up, but we'll get there. And I think this is going to be a really nice greenhouse when we get it done. 30 by 60, so I haven't really thought a whole lot about it, but with these high sides, I'm loving the high sides. You can see, this is the beauty of a high-sided greenhouse, because you can stand against the wall and have headroom. Whereas if this greenhouse was setting 3 foot lower, you'd lose about this much space against each wall. So you essentially make your greenhouse 6 foot narrower. But we will be able to put a lot of runs of tables in here, or the way we do them is usually set cinder blocks with landscaping timbers and pallets on top. Lots of room for activities. But I will get you another update as we go along. Appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.